All right, put your drink down or swallow it quickly, because I do not want you to spit it out after you hear this. From the beginning of this administration, we have seen all the new businesses that have sprung up in and around the Trump family. And we've been asking this one single question: is the White House for sale? So let's take a closer look at the First Lady, Melania Trump. She wrote a memoir, and it was released during the campaign. She launched her own cryptocurrency token on the eve of the inauguration. And most recently, she signed a $40 million deal with Amazon to produce a documentary about her transition back to the White House. So how did we get here? Well, you might remember a lot of tech titans met with Trump at Mar-a-Lago after the election. Jeff Bezos, the third richest man in the world and Amazon's founder, was one of them. He donated $1 million to the inaugural fund. And according to the Wall Street Journal, listen to this: he went to dinner with the future first couple at their Florida resort in December. Just over 2 weeks later, Amazon agreed to pay $40 million to license the film all about her life, which is the most Amazon has ever spent on a documentary in their history, and nearly 3 times the next closest offer. And that is potentially the tip of the iceberg. This week, the New York Times pointed out that Trump has been emboldened to push his business interests in his second term. One of the reporters on that story joins me now, Eric Lipton. He's a correspondent for the New York Times Washington bureau. Eric, I am so glad you're here. It has been a month of the second Trump administration. Tell us about your reporting on his businesses across the board, because he's pushing hard this time.
Yeah, we've really seen that he's basically unrestrained the family as compared to the first time when we were focused on people staying at their hotels or going to the Mar-a-Lago or the Trump Hotel in D.C. Now they are just signing new international deals to build, branded hotels in Saudi Arabia and in Dubai and in Vietnam and in other places around the world, in Serbia. At the same time, they're issuing cryptocurrency token that while Trump is appointing the head of the Securities Exchange Commission, he's selling cryptocurrency that's earning them $100 million in transaction fees alone, and perhaps more as they sell the cryptocurrency itself. And, he's meeting, including today in the White House, with the head of the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, the governor of the Sovereign Wealth Fund, who's a backer of Live Golf, and trying to, forge a deal between the PGA Tour and Live Golf at the same time as Live Golf is in April will be at the Trump Doral in Florida and spending money there to promote, to have a tournament at Trump Doral. This will be the 4th year in a row that Live Golf has used the Trump Doral as one of its venues. So there's just, it's everywhere you look. I mean, Trump announced in Florida before he was sworn in that a partner of his from Dubai, the Dumek Group, was going to be investing in data centers in the United States. And now Don Jr. and Eric Trump are now, surprise, surprise, they're investing in data centers in the United States. And Trump has said that he's going to give accelerated environmental reviews to this Dubai investor. Now, we don't know if the Dubai investor is going to be actually teaming up with Eric and Don Jr., but they've gone into the same business sector. And so there's no longer a reluctance to try to turn the relationships into money for the family directly, where before they were a bit more shy about it, even though, in fact, it was happening anyway.
Congress seems to be turning a blind eye to all of it. It's not a surprise that Republicans are, but Democrats aren't pushing back that hard. Is that because there was a 4-year window to actually change things, tighten up the rules, so we didn't have to hope that Donald Trump wouldn't push his businesses? It wouldn't be legal. But they didn't do anything. They didn't change anything. So now it might be offensive, it might be corrupt, but it's not illegal.
I mean, I think that, Trump himself has taken out nearly 20 inspector general. He fired the head of the Office of Government Ethics. He removed the guy that runs the Office of Special Counsel, the Justice Department, the Public Integrity Division, many of the lawyers, which is the unit that investigates, fraud and abuse by government officials. That several of them have resigned because of what's happening in New York City with the effort to dismiss the charges against the mayor of New York. So really, the entire infrastructure around accountability has been decimated in the federal government, and Congress shows no desire to try to get into this. The Democrats have effectively no power. They can write these letters, they can have press conferences, they can have rallies, but they'd have no subpoena power on their own, and they can't initiate major investigations. So there's little accountability left. And even from the nonprofit community, on the day that Trump was sworn in, 8 years ago, that's when they started lawsuits against him around emoluments, which is the allegation that he was violating the Constitution by taking payments from foreign entities and foreign governments. There have been no emoluments lawsuits. Now, those suits were ultimately dismissed at the end of his first term because it was deemed moot when he left office. But none of the nonprofit groups have gone back to filing emoluments lawsuits yet. I still expect that they will, but there's less enthusiasm this time around. I mean, they're still filing lawsuits around DOJ right now, but less. They're going after the Trump family and its financial activities a bit less, in part because there's little accountability left in the federal government at the moment.
Sure is. Unfortunately, we have no time left. But, man, I wanted to talk about the president's frustration with Boeing not getting the new Air Force One done in time. And guess who he wants to help figure it out? Elon Musk, who, of course, is in the aerospace business. When we return, we have an important fact check. I want to share this with you before we go to break. During his appearance at CPAC, Elon Musk continued to spread more lies about the two astronauts that are currently in the International Space Station. Watch this.
You think that Biden left these astronauts up in space because he didn't want to give you an opportunity to save them, make NASA look bad, make the private sector look better, make you look good. You believe that?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for fact's sake, former President Biden did not abandon these astronauts, and certainly not for political reasons. The astronauts were scheduled to return after just 10 days, but their spacecraft ran into issues. It was an independent safety panel at NASA that decided it would be better for the pair to remain at the International Space Station through their mission. But if you don't want to take my word for it, don't. Take it from the astronauts themselves.
We don't feel abandoned. We don't feel stuck. We don't feel stranded. I understand why others may think that. We come prepared. We come committed.
Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore are expected to return home ahead of schedule on March 19th.